Hello, everyone.
Wow.
We're so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, we started.
Yeah, we started on time.
Yeah, we did.
We start on time every time.
Definitely we do.
Part of manifesting is being stable, steady, and persistent.
I would say, yeah, there's the law of commitment.
Oh my god, yeah,
law
that's
of
really good way to say it.
Yeah.
If we were just showing up to Night Stars half the time and always late sometimes and then sometimes on time, it would not be manifesting.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? We have the joy of instant gratification. Just do it for fun as we're doing it, but then we also are building something at the same time, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So instead of watching the world burn, let's watch Night Stars live with Andy and Fern. Instead of watching the world burn, let's watch Night Stars live with Andy and Fern. Night Stars live with Andy and Fern. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, tonight again we're gonna do our podcast on YouTube. So hello to all the YouTube people.
Oh my god.
Feel free to comment, and subscribe to our amazing, exciting experience here.
This is why you're a manifestor and not just a person, because you were I'm taking this out onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Manifesting a bigger splash from Night Stars.
I was actually going to show you. I feel silly bragging about it now that we're on the YouTube channel itself. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. But yeah, just this last month, I've been putting up pick a card readings, and it literally went up exponentially 999%.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was because there was nothing really happening before, but still, it's pretty amazing. It went to 1.4 people. 1.4 thousand people have watched my videos.
Wow.
And it was 110 watch hours in the last month.
Oh my god.
Yeah, watch hours. I know. That means it's a lot of time. People just hanging out on my page.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's just the beginning. That's just the very beginning. I have 5 videos up there. So we're about to rock it out. Really
oh my gosh. You love running along an engine that's also a manifestor because, of course we're all manifestors. We're all what is that even mean? It's to make something happen. All people are making something happen, but not at literally the same level. As an artist, there are people I work with where it's I'm kind of I don't know. I don't want to be rude, but it's just as a producer, it's sometimes you're the producer and you're producing the whole thing, and but sometimes you work alongside another producer, and it's 2 engines running, the thing runs really far,
Yeah.
It's and yeah, the crowd's small right now. Shane's here, our lovely
Hi,
Shane.
Shane.
Shane is also a producer, and you see how he shows up every single time,
and on time.
Yeah, he's a manifestor too.
Definitely.
You should see him in his work. I mean, these guys manifest huge computer programs and make huge. He's a manifestor too. But
that's so cool. And you manifested these flowers today.
Oh yeah. Fern brought me flowers.
She's why did I? I'm I don't know why. You tell me you manifested that.
I passively manifested that. I didn't even mean to. That just happened to me, actually. I mean, so some people would say that anything that happens to us, we manifested. I'm not sure I agree with that, but
Oh, really? Yeah. So, and that's such a good point. When we will go into the tarot and astrology, obviously, but I do want to kind of address the belief system of manifestation because I think there's some sort of tenets to manifestation, and the beliefs around them, and that's part of you either do or don't believe, subscribe kind of to the manifesting thing. Yeah. Because it is a little trippy, the concept that what I think affects the outside world. It's almost narcissistic.
Well, I'm glad that John's here because John at the station, it's literally, I hope he hears you talk for this hour. I know he probably has to go, but it's
John.
Literally sometimes lessons in manifesting can change someone's entire life.
Yeah. So
what you're saying here is that basically manifesting is taking our inside vision and making it go outward.
Yeah. So the big tenet to manifestation, the belief system that you kind of have to operate on to be able to really sort of it's the river that you've got to put your ship on to really, if you want to go far on this manifesting ride, is that our subconscious. This is basically that this is almost like a simulation and that things change forwards and backwards, up and down when we change our mind, So things, so kind of that synchronicity, it's oh, how could that have made This person's been driving around for hours with their license plate, and then you happen to say something to your friend driving down the freeway about that exact same thing that the license plate said, and you're just like, wait, there it is right there. Like, how did that all happen? It happened through this concept of like manifestation. Basically, you're putting your intentional energy into a conversation, into like your thoughts and stuff, and especially creating into your subconscious. The biggest part is your subconscious starts to believe things at a fundamental level. So, really shifting. That's why kind of like the rich stay rich, the rich get richer, is because it's really easy subconscious to believe that they're rich because they have a finite example of it in their 3D, And so a lot of people could just get rich, but they basically have to convince their subconscious that they're rich and believe in the unseen and for it to come in. But there's something about this world sort of shifts and changes, not as hard and three-dimensional and finite as we think it is. That's the crazy part about it, that a lot of people have a difficulty attaching themselves to. It's like, well, everything is already, it's like historical, it's fast, it's done, and in the manifestation universe, actually not really. Like it's what our subconscious sort of like affects this universe.
Okay, here, let me use a real example. So John, I've been trying to work with him on manifestation because like I'm kind of acting, just we're friends, but like I'm like, I'll act as your producer, whatever. It's like a favor.
Yeah.
You and I do that to each other
For
sometimes.
sure.
So basically I was like, okay, well, what are you trying to produce? Like who? He's like, well, I want to be a well-known astrologer. I'm like, okay, and what are you known for? And he's like, I want to be known for training astrologers to do good lectures. And I was like, okay, so I wrote that down, right? Because one of the first step in manifestation is to write things down. There's a book called Write It Down, Make It Happen, and it's all about writing things down and then they will happen, right?
Yes.
And that's part of manifesting, is knowing clearly what you're making or what
details.
Details. Yeah. The more detailed you describe a picture in your mind, the more likely it is to manifest or whatever. So you're talking about creating a clear vision. So it's like, we got to get this vision of John as like this lecture. So I'm like, I want to know the details. I want to know what you look like. Do you have a clipboard? Like, what are you wearing? Like, what are you saying? So I want to get that caricature already in the vision center, so now we can create it on the outside.
Definitely.
Do you do that when you're manifesting?
1,000, 100 billion%. There's so much writing that happens, so much specific information, and the more specific you are, the less the universe just fills in the details for you, and it's very lowest common denominator. It's like, if you don't, it's kind of like main character energy. Are you a main character? Then write your main character role, because if you don't have any kind of direction for yourself, then the universe sort of like puts you in the supporting roles. And it's like, because other people have main character energy going on, you know what I mean? They figured out like their role that they want to play. They're very specific about it. And that's where my spiritual transformation this last summer happened, where I was like, hey, to my higher self, I was like, I know you're like up there worrying about other people, other versions of me that are more involved in their like main character energy. And I'm like, it's time for me. Like, I have plans, I have goals, I have thoughts, I have dreams. And so I chose to get really specific about them. So I'm confident and specific about exactly what I'm manifesting now. It couldn't be more clear, like it just couldn't be more clear for universe to fill in their like how it happens. That's a good point though, is the how. We have to detach ourselves from the how. So it's okay to dream as big as you possibly want, but you can't go like, okay, now how am I going to make that work? Don't worry about how you're going to you can't make it work. Like the biggest dream that you have, you can't force it to happen by your own like figuring out of it, because this is just on this dimension, there's 7.8 billion people. There's just so much done that spirit sort of like fills in, figures it out. It's like the eagle, the point of the eagle flying, it's like they know how to get from point A to point B in a perfect way. Like you can't get a high enough view to make all of this work best for you, and we only get in our own way when we go like, but how's it gonna happen? Well, how can it happen? Don't worry about how. Like, that's not, it's literally, I call it none of my business. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just like, that part is not my business. I don't know how. I don't care, honestly. It's not my business. Yeah,
I totally take control of how. Like, I mean, well, okay, so actually, not really. Okay, so but I have a producer's chart, like my Sun, Mars, Saturn, like, so I vision at the 14th degree. I have a moon square Neptune, so I literally get visions, and then my 28th degree with the sun works towards the vision being created on earth. Like, so but I actually do something where I ask for God's will. Like in recovery, I learned to not have your will at the center of any equation, because it hovering.
Right.
So like you ask, what is God's will for this manifestation?
Exactly.
So like, but you want to be clear about what you're manifesting. So let's say that let's say I was trying to manifest a boyfriend. You know, people are always like, oh, and you're so lucky you found Shane. You're so, and I'm like, I actually manifested Shane.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I actually did.
No,
I clearly wanted a husband-like boyfriend. I talked about, like, we'll get into like talking about what you're manifesting as part of the process. But basically, and then I went out looking and made a profile to manifest it. Like I actually did manifestation work around it. But the point is like, let's say you're your boyfriend. You hold in your vision, I want a partner and I want it to feel like this. And then you pray every day and you say, God, what is your will around this manifestation? And then you like write in your journal, you write to God, and you let God inform the equation also, because you can't actually manifest certain things on your own.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of like this or better, you know, like you go like, I have this vision, this is what I see it to be. And especially if you're really specific, like I want this specific house with this specific person or something, you know what I mean? Then you have to kind of go this, or God knows what God's doing, you know? And we're just kind of like, that would be nice, but it's because it's sort of, happens a lot that we force manifest like a very specific situation, and then we find out really quickly that like we didn't know best, you know, that God knows best, kind of like. And so because we're so fixated on that being what we thought it was, when we really get inside of it and it's not what you dreamed it, so you kind of want the feeling. And that's where they're like, Neville Goddard is one of the people that I listen to a lot. He was born in 1905. He's like a really old. He taught people manifestation way back in the day, you know, like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and he definitely influenced some of the wealthiest people on the earth right now, like the Master Key Society people, you know, like all the insider knowledge type of stuff. Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn, these are two names from. She was born in when she was born, 1871. Okay, so these are like original manifestor kind of people from Americas, and so from United States that were like, you know, as the booming this and booming that, they were kind of right alongside it, like really teaching these amazing concepts way before the Matrix. Like they basically understood how to hack the Matrix before we ever had the movie The Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Neville Goddard says the feeling is the secret. So it's really important to feel how, basically establish how you want to feel. Is be super specific about like exactly what you want, but establish how you want to feel. Like you want to feel ease about your day, you know, you want to feel loved, supported, cared for, like all those kinds of things. And then the spirit will fill in a boyfriend, you know, that like brings in those feelings for you.
Interesting. Well, okay, so I think it's also really important to just know that you're okay. So I love Facebook because it's a manifestation tool. Like for example, let's say you decide that here's one. I've decided that I want to manifest 4 reading groups a week because Jupiter's going to Gemini, so I'm going to help manifest that transit, right?
Yeah,
totally. Of reading together. Like your Gemini would be reading, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm like, okay, we're going to have reading groups at the Moira Press that is one reading group for every book the Moira Press has published. Like there's the Ptolemy, the Tetrabiblos, there's the Valence series, the Wonder Book, and then there's Remediation. We have these like 4 tracks. Well, it's like, so how do I start manifesting that? Like for me, what they say is what you talk about is what.
Yeah.
Okay. So like let's say everyone I meet, I'm like, I'm so bad. I'm so terrible. I'm so bad. I'm so terrible. Like that's what I'm literally manifesting, right?
Yes.
But if everyone I meet, I'm like, yeah, I'm starting a reading group next month, and we're going to be in a reading group. Like, then there's a reading group, and you remember that the reading group is happening, and like, I just trip on the reading group, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what else is going to happen other than I'm going to be in a reading group?
Yeah.
Because like everyone who I talk to like hears about the reading group, and like, yeah, some people will want to join me in that, and a lot of people will not. A lot of people will be like, that's a stupid idea. Like, and I'm like, well, I'm manifesting a reading group whether or not you like it or not.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Because that's what I want to happen. Like, so what, if you want something to happen, one of the things is to start talking about it a lot.
Definitely.
And, you know, like when I was single, like people are always doing this thing when they're single. They're like, I'm fine alone. I'm like so good alone. I'm like so powerful and strong alone. And I am those things. And I didn't want to manifest being alone.
I remember that, and I think that was really powerful. Well, like that's a great example of manifestation.
So I would be like,
no.
I do better in a relationship. I'm really looking forward to have a partner. I can't wait to have a partner. Like,
yeah, it was really brave of you. I remember that because you were like, no, I like being with people, even though you weren't. Because a lot of times people just reactively say, no, I'm happy like this because they're not with someone, so they want to just say that they're fine, But you were like, no, I'm not fine. I'm fine, but I could be better. Like,
yeah, totally.
and you were really open to having a relationship, which is why you're in one right now, honestly. And
That's one reason I'm in one.
Yeah, see, he said he manifested you at the same time. Cool. You guys manifested each other, and that's
well.
probably
And I also
very
went
true.
out on the dating app. Like I was dating a guy who wasn't manifesting. It wasn't a manifestation of what I was trying to manifest. So I went back on the dating app and I literally sent out messages to 5 more guys. Like every time what I was trying to manifest wasn't occurring, I went back and tried again. Like I think you also have to try. I mean,
yeah, that is so true. That is so true. So we have. Let's do the tarot and the astrology, and then we'll. Cool. So for tarot, we have 4 of Pentacles, which says power of the earth. We have the moon, which is dreams. Interesting. We have fatherhood, father of cups, which is king of cups, and then daughter of swords, which is the page of swords, which is confidence. Okay, so first of all, 4 of swords, 4 stones is 4 pentacles. It is a little bit like holding on. So I do think because I was going to say that anyway, there is something around detachment though with manifestation. We do have to power of the earth. It's almost like we have to really respect that the earth it has its own potency and own power. Like that you put like a resonance, like a vibration into these into what you want, and now it will happen. There's got to be a way to sort of like believe. That's the faith part of it. The faith walk, is going like, okay, now I'm going to set that down, and it's already done. Like really, supposedly, as soon as you say exactly what you want, it's already on its way, manifesting. So we can't then you kind of have to detach from it because otherwise you aren't necessarily believing it's on its way. You know what I mean? Like you can continue to sort of feed it, and there's other laws like of action and stuff like that we'll talk about. But yeah, there's something around just going like, and it's on its way. Like we can't keep retracting that statement. So moon dreams, which is really cool because that's where everything starts, is in the imagination. Imagination is the most powerful manifestation tool possible, and you literally dream stuff that then comes true. Especially your moon square Neptune, my moon conjunct Neptune. I dream stuff, especially lately, that has been coming true. Meeting people, then I meet them. It's crazy, and so, but also intentional imagination, like dreaming something and seeing it as if it were real, because supposedly the subconscious doesn't recognize if something is real or imagined. So it's like kind of when you're watching TV and it's like you don't know if this is real or not. So your subconscious doesn't know if that's real or not because it's like really invested in it, just like as if it were real. And that's a lot like an imagined thing. So if you really have this great dream and you like walk through it every day and just go like, wow, then I did this and then I did that. That's a really cool tool for manifestation. Just like the enjoyment of the memory almost, even though it hasn't happened yet, just like dreaming it back over and over again. Then you have the Father of Cups, which I think is like emotional maturity and emotional stability. So there's something around like really owning your emotions in this, like feeling is a secret. But there's like a maturity in manifestation where you're able to detach, you're able to feel like safe and confident and comfortable, even when it doesn't look like you've got it, So you have, it looks in your bank account like there's nothing. It looks like this, you know what I mean? But there's like this emotional grace that we have to sort of be able to pull up that goes like, I already know I'm cared for. It's a lot like faith in God, Mm-hmm. It's like, I already know that I'm cared for. And the Page of Swords is, which is, it says confidence. So totally that is really cool. She's just coming out guns blazing, like what's up, she's got it, and it's cool because we have the daughter and the father, and one of Florence Scovel Shinn's people that she works that learned from her, she basically created this book that says I'm the daughter of the king, and it was like this manifestation like mantra kind of that's like I'm the daughter of the king, anything I want he gives to me. So say you're not, like you're born poor, there's like this ways of, and we'll talk about that later too, but like there's mantra that you can basically reprogram your brain to think that you have what you don't really think that you have, you know. And so this is really cool because we got the daughter and the father, so the daughter of the king, you know, and just saying like I have everything the king has already provided for me. I don't need anything. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. And what's going on with astrology right now?
Well, I think the biggest things that I really want to talk about is the sun just went to Gemini. There've been like 5 planets in Taurus, which is kind of a slow, peaceful vibe. And now the sun's going to Gemini. Things are going to get quicker, and Jupiter's about to go into Gemini. And the sun's trining Pluto in Aquarius. So it's like, and then Jupiter's going to trine Pluto in Aquarius. So I think that this is going to be a huge couple weeks for group relations, whether, you know, like I'm going to the Northwest Astrology Conference, and it's going to be a Jupiter trine Pluto conference, which is just going to be really intense. Like, talk about manifestation. Jupiter Pluto is one of the biggest manifesting aspects that there is, because it's like intense optimism.
That's so cool.
Jupiter Pluto, you know,
in a trine, which is awesome.
In a trine. So I think for all of us, you know, because Pluto and Aquarius, it's like people are getting together on Zoom. They're getting together through technology. They're like communing in groups constantly right now. That's like the Pluto and Aquarius. And I think the Jupiter and Gemini triangle is going to bring tons of talking within the groups. Like, you know, just there's probably going to be a lot of conferences this Memorial Day weekend, and like people are just going to go bananas in groups. So I think it's really exciting that everything's leaving Gemini or Taurus and going into Gemini. Like all the planets are going to go into Gemini. So it's like really important to think about what house you have Gemini and what house that's like entering view with Jupiter going into Gemini.
It's literally hitting my 10th house, which is pretty exciting.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, totally. But that's also this whole YouTube thing. Like, just minutes ago, I was like sitting at my kitchen table, like with this weird angle, you know, no lighting. And now I just got the arm, I got all this different stuff. So I like really amped up made it so I can be, you know, pick a card readings that look just like the ones I admire the most. You know?
Wow,
yeah. And then I did my banner today. I'm like, wow, this must be the manifestation of the whole, because actually Jupiter conjunct Uranus is exactly at 21 degrees Taurus on my midheaven.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they're all hanging out like, so yeah.
Well, let's actually talk about manifestation theory and astrology if we can for a second. So, you know, I just want to talk about something called teleology, which is ancient theory basically. And, you know, astrology, what used to be called apotelosmatics in Greek. And a telos is anything manifesting into itself. So like when I was reading the Greek text, they kept talking about things manifesting like over and over and over again. And I was like, what is going on? Like, and it turns out that astrology is literally manifestation theory.
Wow.
So a telos is a thing becoming itself. So like you are the Fern Allen telos, okay?
Okay, cool.
And there's something called a final cause, which is the reason for which this thing is manifesting. So we're actually supposed to go towards our final cause. So like we would say like, you're here to be a psychic, and you're here to be a healer, and you're here to be a musician, and you're here to be like you have all these final causes, like a grandma, and like all these things.
Yeah.
And so so we're actually going towards our final cause, which is like our reason to be here. But we're supposed to manifest our chart one transit at a time. They would actually had a whole formula for it. They say, when the transit comes in, enjoy a new heartfelt longing, which is literally, they say the transit will make your heart long for a thing. So like your heart is starting to long to make terrible vids.
Yeah.
And it's because Jupiter's going to your 10th house of career and being in the public eye that you're starting to long to go into the, I know that your moon and 4 likes hanging out with your animals, but right now you're longing to go into the public, right? And they say what you're supposed to do when you have a heartfelt longing is grasp towards that thing you're longing. And this is what's humans, like they say a plant, you know how it grows towards the sun like this?
Yeah.
Humans grow through grabbing at things.
Wow.
So like when you grab at your computer and set it up to do your tarot cards, and then you grab it, it's actually you grasping into
I
like
love
manifestation.
that. That's amazing.
So that's what teleology was. And then the word apotelosmatics means, like addicts means like all things connected to a telos.
Yeah.
And then apo means full on. Like, so it's like the astrology is the study of all things connected to a thing developing full on.
Nice.
So what it actually is mega manifestation theory. And if you if you take one transit at a time and you manifest and grow and grab at the world and grab at everything you want, every transit, you will like mega manifest, basically.
Yeah, totally. No, I get that. That's awesome. And it is really difficult when you go through a transit and you don't like really enact it entirely. Like you say, I wasn't like, I actually had to have someone come over and help me. Like there were so many different little moments and pieces to like figuring out this thing that I really wanted to get done so I could make these YouTube videos the way I want them to happen. And there was like a lot of frustration in the process, but if I had just like been like, oh, well, I guess I won't do it. Like what an awkward, horrible, like toxic energy that would have become.
Well, I wanted to ask you in the crowd, which is, what do you guys think it's like when something is under manifested or a person is under manifested?
Well, I really feel like that's like it could potentially be a timeline that is like less it seems like there's it's a multiverse and there's many dimensions of us, like, you know, like in parallel realities almost. So there's kind of like the under manifested version of us and like the ultimately manifested version of us, you know, and then like wherever we are, and we can always keep sort of going into different timelines, different dimensions of ourselves. And that's what I feel like happened to me this last year, where I was like, I'm done being like an under manifested version of myself. I really want to be like, I want more of my higher self's like attention and energy, and you know, like I feel like there's a version of me that's like traveling, doing conferences, like doing all the time, and I felt like my higher self was like really busy with those and just being like, it's okay, you're boring, you know, like I'll just attend to you like but I'm like, no, I want like your full attention, like I want to be activated like entirely and do like the whole thing, you know. I want to like be the one in this consciousness that is like fully over like fully manifesting this potential of being us healthy human beings here right now, 2024, you know.
Yeah, I think they're manifested. They feel like they're suffocating. They feel unseen. They feel unheard. They feel gross inside.
Yeah.
They feel frustrated. And in fact, like, let's tweak our thinking a little bit. Like, if you're thinking about like looking at transits in the future and like, what's going to happen to me when Jupiter goes in Gemini? That's actually the wrong question from the ancient theory. What you're supposed to say is, what am I planning to manifest when Jupiter goes into Gemini? What am I going to start growing really quickly and fiercely? Like, so let's talk about if you have like a Jupiter square, like you have a Venus square Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
And like if you read Robert Hand's book, Planets in Transit, which is like the classic pinnacle, you know, regular manifestors transit book. It's like, if you have a square to Jupiter, you might do something, you might overdo it, you be temperate. Like he's tried to teach temperate through these squares. What a mega manifestor would say is, if you have Jupiter by transit hit your Jupiter square, manifest the fuck. Like right now on your square, it's like go. And then when Jupiter passes, rest, you know, and then when Saturn hits your square, then contract. And like, so we're like, it's kind of like a mega manifestation lifestyle is that you grow every transit like heartily, and like people are like, what the book reading groups? You're gonna do 4 book reading groups? I'm like, what? Jupiter's going to Gemini, it's going to trine my Venus. It's like, and then it's going to hit my Pluto. I'm like you do the math. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to not do my transit.
Right, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
But see, I'm seeing it before it's happening, and so I have to teach people what I'm manifesting. And like you know what I mean? You have to kind of tell people what's going to go
Well,
on.
and it's funny because it is like this faith in the unknown, like in the unseen, you know? Because like right now you're going like, yes, it will be like that, right? And so you sort of are falling into the future, like just knowing what's coming. And it's kind of like only after time that doubters like really see things from the retrospect, you know? They go like, oh, I guess you said it was going to happen like that, and then it happened like that, you know?
Well, I do think there's a bravery where you train yourself to go at your transits, like knowing what they are. Like, okay, let's talk about our small crowd. Okay, Shane's in the crowd. What a sweetheart. He's holding down the crowd. John might be here, but no one else is here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are we going
to? Don't forget YouTube. Hi,
well,
YouTube.
Exactly. Okay.
You guys are welcome to comment and subscribe and like it.
Okay. But up until now, we had a big crowd, but the crowd is getting tired, right? We're manifesting this not dependent on how many people are in the crowd. We're manifesting it because Saturn is hitting your Sun square Neptune. It's hitting my Moon square Neptune this year. And what you and I do is we manifest when Saturn hits our mutual Neptune square. Yeah. We make things together. We made the Heaven show. We did your band.
Totally.
And the band thing, like, kind of didn't work, but we manifested it on the Saturn transit anyway. Like, so it's like, I'm not going to stop because the crowd is tired right now. Like that, because our transit's still going. Do you understand?
Well, and the thing is that we're growing, literally, through putting it onto YouTube. Like, you
exactly.
know,
and that's why you're a manifestor.
Because the live situation, like, only relying on that being the crowd, you know, like only relying on that being the people who get to witness it and then maybe visit it later or something like that. It's like we almost have to like make it more accessible for the rest of the world. And they're actually giving us, like, in a way, we manifested a lower Facebook Live crowd because it's kind of like giving us this tension that has to be relieved through like building it.
This is why you're a genius. Like, and I love working with you because we are working to the pressure of the transit, not the result of our work, right? But you're like, okay, the crowd's getting small. Let's go over on YouTube and like face that crowd. And like, it's like, and if that, and it's like, and then once we get those YouTube videos, I'll start posting those all the time on my freaking page. And then it's just going to build. And it's like, you and I are manifestors, right?
Thanks, Shane.
And so I think this is where, you know, it's like some people would be deflated by the low crowd, but I go with my transits first and foremost. I don't go with the response of the external universe.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is believing in the unseen, you know, and respecting the truth of the scene. So it's like, okay, this is teaching me something. This is like a response to what I've already manifested. This is saying like, now tweak it this way or that way, you know, like this is a conversation, basically. You know, there's nothing so like written in stone here on this planet. We have to be able to kind of like move with, like you said, the transits, and move with what we're being fed back as feedback.
Well, let's talk about this. What did we try to manifest with Night Stars? Like we actually said, it started with you getting a vision that we should just get together and kind of learn from each other about something.
Yeah.
It was like, you teach me sign language, you'll teach me tarot. Well, my source was like, say yes to Fern, say no to that trade. But I didn't say no to the trade. I said yes,
right?
Because my God loves me working with you at the 14th degree. Like, so I trust the charts more than like the first impetus of the idea.
Yeah.
I started to get together with you, and by the third time that we got together on Monday night, we had written a whole script for Night Stars.
Right, totally.
That's our composite chart working.
It is,
right?
Yeah, totally.
So, but what did we try to manifest? I mean, are we making what we tried to manifest?
I think we are, because what we said is we wrote down like 1 million different topics, right? Which we haven't gotten through like half of them even.
Right.
And we have so many different topics. Hey, let's be, and then I even like doubled down on, remember we were like, make it this way or that way, and I was like, no, we're just two regular people who do tarot and astrology. We're not characters of ourselves, you know, like we're just ourselves talking about stuff, and like that will be what people want, you know, and we just have to find the people like that, and that's where I feel like, I mean, I was never disappointed. That's why I moved my filming over to YouTube, because my Facebook Live never got more than 2 people. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and I'm just like, okay, that's obviously not where I'm going to be pulling in people. But I can definitely, but my YouTube is doing way better than I expected. So it's like now I'm being shown the way, you know, like, but what I do love about Night Stars Live with Andy and Fern is that it is just like offering information in a really accessible way that isn't accessible in the mainstream, you know, because we're two witchy ass bitches, you know, who are totally like from other worlds, and we're here just talking regularly, colloquially about things, different things every month, every week, and we're bringing like our input on topics, any topic, you know, but we're bringing like how we feel and see and perceive it, which I think is valuable.
Well, it's so interesting because I love the show we've created. Like when I look at it, like, you know, and it's like Shane actually for being here for the moral support. Like just him being there, I think keeps us like really happy spiritually. Like at least it does for me.
Yeah.
It's like we have like a studio audience, like, and that's part of the production.
Yeah.
And though I'm really happy with what we've created, like I'm really happy with the show.
Yeah.
And so it's like as a producer, I'm like, thank God you're going out to like tap into another crowd, because it's like, and on YouTube these can be shared over and over again, whereas the Facebook wall kind of goes dead. It's like I think I think what we've made is beautiful, and I'm so happy to have it be memorialized on YouTube now. Like, I just think it's a
gonna be
win.
good.
You
Okay,
know?
so I want to talk about some manifestation stuff. Okay. All right. So there are some really cool techniques that I want to basically be able to share with people while they have the chance to check them out, because that's the whole thing. So do you agree that like this is a simulation and that our subconscious can affect, you know, the physical world? Because that's kind of the premise that you sort of have to walk out on to be able to do the rest of this, you know, like that's what Neville Goddard really talks about. That's what Florence Scovel-Shinn talks about. That's what all the rest of the manifestors that have come up, like that are able to really share their knowledge, you know, their premise that your subconscious affects the world, and what you intend, either consciously or subconsciously, comes back to you, you know, that you, like the outside world is a part of the inside world. So and there are laws of physics, and there's actually 12 laws of physics, and they're pretty cool. So I wrote them down. We can talk about them, but I did want to talk about some techniques that that are really helpful to me. Like there's a few of them. They're pretty exciting. So there's one, Neville, the biggest one that Neville Goddard is famous for is called the ladder technique. Okay. So, and this is, he's also from, you know, the 1940s and 50s. So this was like his way of saying, of making sense of it. So basically the ladder technique is saying, is saying you go, okay, well, actually, let's do the not technique first. It's N-O-T, not.
Okay.
I don't want, I not, you know? So the not technique is saying, because the universe doesn't hear the word no or don't or negative. The universe hears negative in the sense, in the focus of the energy. So if you're like, I don't want to get sick, I do not want to get sick, I do not want to get, you get sick. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not worried. They don't hear that you don't want to do it. They just hear getting sick, getting sick, getting sick. See what I'm saying? Oh yeah.
So whatever you do, don't imagine 10 pickles dancing around an onion.
Right. Exactly.
That's actually the same concept of like you actually.
Like
I just put the image in your head, and in order to not imagine it, you have to imagine it first.
Yeah.
That's the same with I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. It's like you're putting sick in your mind.
That's exactly. And so that's the hugest thing, is that the universe only hears the concept. So they're like, don't be negative. Don't be negative in the concept. You can be negative in the word no. See what I'm saying? So the not technique is basically, because also our subconscious really has a hard time kind of like block, our conscious mind will block. So you go, I have $10,000 in the bank. I have $10,000 in the bank right now. You know, I could go pull out $10,000 right now, like the whole I am thing, you know? And so your conscious brain goes, let's check the bank account online, and you don't have it right now, actually. You know what I mean? And your conscious mind like basically stops you and goes like, that didn't happen. Like, you're fucking lying. And so there's like this actual liar, like a alarm that goes off in your brain when you try to tell yourself that you have something that you don't have, you know? So that technique kind of bypasses that. It's a hack, and that's what's so crazy. These are from people from the millions of years ago. You know what I mean? It seems like they had this hack to basically tell yourself that to go like, I don't have $10,000 in the bank. I don't have $10,000 in the bank. I don't have $10,000. I do not have 10,000 fat buckaroonies in the bank right now. You know, like you don't, and it's true. You don't have $10,000 in the bank, but the thing is that all of the universe hears is have $10,000 in the bank, have $10,000 in the bank, have $10,000 in the bank. See what I'm saying? Because they don't actually hear the I don't have part. Is that crazy?
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's the not technique, is you bypass like all of your resistance to it, you know, and you also there's a part of you that's like, say you don't need, you're like, I don't need millions of dollars, because, and secretly you're kind of like, because I have millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's just like this detachment part that can happen too, where you're like, I don't need it because I fucking have it already, you know. The subconscious sort of fills that in when you go, I don't need that, I just don't need that, I don't need millions of dollars, I don't need millions of dollars. And you're thinking of millions of dollars, and you're also saying, I'm good without it, because obviously you have it if you're good without it, you know.
We don't need thousands of YouTube fans.
Yeah, exactly. Of YouTube subscribers.
We don't need thousands.
We don't need
millions,
exactly. Yeah, and there is no big amount. There's no top to like what we can dream of. You know, like dream as big as you can. Well, I kind of think of dreaming like, see those, you have the wings. You know, you have so many wings here. Yeah. But like, it's almost like part of why things don't manifest is because we are clipping our wings. Like, we're really dream as big as your whole spirit wants to dream, and then you're actually kind of free to really express yourself in that manifestation. You're not just like, oh, I'll just keep it at this, and like it's never going to come out, because you're kind of capping yourself at something. So anyway, so there's the knot technique. So then with the ladder technique, you go, I will not climb a ladder this week. I will not climb a ladder this week. I will not climb a ladder. And you basically tell yourself every night before you go to bed and in the morning, you just say, I will not climb a ladder today. I will not climb a ladder this week or whatever. And basically everyone eventually ends up within a few days to a week climbing a ladder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a way for you to prove to yourself that like this thing is freaky. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that it fucking works. And so you go, yeah, I will not, like you're like determined, definitely won't, but it will happen to you. You will end up weirdly without even thinking of it. Someone's like, could you climb this ladder really quick and get me this thing? And all of a sudden you're just climbing up a ladder, Yeah. So that's the ladder technique. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, so in Greek, there's this whole realm. It's called the Fantasia realm, and it's the realm of mind pictures. And we've localized it into fantasy, the word fantasy. Like, oh, that's just a fantasy. Right. Like, oh, you just have a fantasy of $1,000 or $1 million or whatever. But in the Greeks took it very seriously that if you can send out a fantasia, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing, is you're sending out a fantasia, which is a thought picture.
Exactly.
And it's like if I'm like, okay, I'm like one of the best astrologers in the world or whatever, I'm like, just like, I'm going to go on Facebook and send out the thought picture, like somehow I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to live as if I'm just live as. It's like, it's really important to create the thought picture and then just live the thought picture, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
totally.
A fantasia.
That's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. And we can't live within the dimension of the haters, and like there's a lot of things around vibration and stuff too, like staying at a certain like vibration so that you are really not like collapsing this fantasia, because like the thing is that other people are gonna be like, oh, that's just a this and that. We can't really even spend time with those people, and so that's where as you really evolve, it's kind of like if you okay, now I have $10 million. Do I hang out with the exact same people? Like, you know what I mean? Do I do the exact same things I used to do when I didn't have $10 million? That's kind of like already living in the experience of having $10 million doesn't like shown up in your bank account yet. You still sort of have to like move over to the frequency of somebody who has $10 million.
So, okay, I want you to know, they say something about the fantasia. They say that in the fantasia realm, things are perfect, but on Earth, they're never perfect. So, like, we can imagine a perfect cube, but like if we made a cube, it would be kind of wonky, right? So it's like, so just as a manifestor, no, like, we may say like, oh, we don't have thousands of fans. We don't have thousands of fans. We're trying to make this fantasia of thousands of fans. Well, we might end up with 150 fans, but that's because our vision was perfect. And in the real world, things are kind of wabi-sabi.
Yeah. Well, I think that like everything has momentum and stuff too. So there is really no ending up either. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of what I do as an artist, a songwriter, is I manifest my creations for the future, so like I don't even know where this will all end up, you know what I mean? I don't really care. Again, not my business, in some ways. Like I've written so many poems of so many different things that I think will resonate with the right people in the right times, and it's not important to me. It's not my job to kind of like see where it ends up. Like my life is actually too short to see where things like end up, you know what I mean? So I think we can't really stop ourselves at any one point and go like, oh, I guess we got there at this point. You know what I mean? That's personally how I feel. I feel like the especially now that things live forever on the internet, live forever over here, live forever over there. We just might not experience the gratification maybe, of certain parts of like our manifestations. But I do think that everything that we've manifested is, and supposedly that's the thing. That's one of the biggest things is law of assumption is one of the biggest laws. Like there's a law of attraction was like, so like the being in the right vibration and sort of like being like, I am wealthy, and then like you get wealthy, like that's law of attraction kind of stuff. The law of assumption basically says like it is done. So like you live as if it has already happened. You have to live sort of at the end and then like work backwards. And so say we want 10,000 subscribers on YouTube for like to watch these podcasts. We have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's already done. We said we wanted it, we said it's there, it's done. Now we just, we let divine timing and circumstance reach that point. but we don't fight it. We go, obviously we've created it, because this place is sort of like an infinite field of potential. You can create anything you want. A lot of times it's just that we get in our own way. You know, the whole block your blessings thing? That's real. Like, that's a real thing.
Well, I will say that what we found out about the images we get, I would say, have something to do with our chart. For example, if you're going to get rich, you have to hold a vision of being wealthy long enough to manifest. So if you have the chart to do that, you will get the visions of wealth wanting. You know, it's like a lot of charts don't want to be wealthy. Like, it's like, I'm just not interested in doing the work to manifest that. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's like Leo. A lot of charts don't have a lot of Leo in their chart, so they don't want to be a superstar, famous person. You know what I mean?
Right,
they don't want to be like a singer on the stage, right?
Right,
because there's no Leo in your chart. Like, that makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So, I think there's this idea like we can manifest anything that we want. It's like, if you don't have the chart of an Olympic athlete, you're just not going to manifest that because you don't have the intense focus to do that.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
It's what a lot of what manifestation is that thought picture being created over and over and over again until it is.
Exactly. And like, I'm wearing one of the things I've manifested in my life, which is being a grandma, because people manifest all kinds of things. So they don't necessarily, you manifest an animal sanctuary, you know what I mean? I manifested five animals, like I've manifested 2 grandkids. Like, I've had so many things in my life that other people would have really liked to have had. And they didn't manifest them. Because like they weren't like so focused on that being their life, right? And so, but then they manifested a great career. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
And actually, this is kind of funny, but I do have an art piece that I would like to manifest at some point, which is did I ever tell you about the warehouse art piece? Okay, so it's really cool. It is totally about how we manifest each different things in this lifetime. And so basically it's this giant warehouse, and inside of it, there's only 2 entrances, okay? One on one side of the block. Let's say it's like a whole block size. So there's an entrance on one side of the block and on this side of the block. There inside are many different hills, okay? So like big hills, that you can climb up and down, and they each take maybe like 10 minutes to climb up and down or whatever. So you can start at one end or the other, and you only have 1 hour, and you have to go to as many hills as you feel like, and they all have different names. So one is like career, one is college, one is travel, one is impact, world impact, like one is like adopting some kids, one is being grandma. What I'm saying, one is major wealth. Like, there's so many different things that you can like climb up the hill and get down and over it within the 60 minutes, but you can't get to them all. Like, that's the whole point, is that it's a finite experience on Earth. And like, you get to the one, you might like beeline all the way across and then get out to that one, you know what I'm saying? And then you've only had 3 or 4 to get to, because you actually had to make it all the way across the whole place to get to the one you wanted first. Or you might just start and try to get as many hills as you want right from where you started. You know what I'm saying? So there's just like, and that's where I feel like we have to have kind of empathy and compassion for each other. Because, like a lot of people at 45 are not grandparents of 2. And maybe they don't want to be. But I'll meet a lot of people who are like 65, 70 and still haven't had grandkids, But I'm like, but what have you had? You know what I'm saying? There's really cool thing that you've manifested in your life that I haven't manifested, and so we could exchange lives, but we're not going to do that, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a fun art project.
That's a really cool way of talking about, like, there's a song I made where it's like, we are the light of the cosmos, the light of the bodies in the eyes, light up everything in your house and create your own version of a beautiful thing. Like that song is about like how the light hits our eyes and it goes through our chakras and like our charts at work, and it's like we need to create our own version of a beautiful thing with all that energy, right? So like for example, like, how you're saying that sometimes you manifest things but you don't know where it's going or what it's doing. A few years ago I had a transit that I kept visioning beads, like making beads. There's beads all over my house, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, beads. Like, I didn't know why I was making beads, right? All I knew is that was what I wanted to manifest. Like, the vision kept coming of beads, right? So it's funny because years later now, I do all these mail trades. One of the things I manifested, I got this corn shirt with a mail trade.
Nice.
I got a Doors poster with a mail trade. I just got this book, Scripting the Life You Want, Manifest Your Dreams with Just Pen and Paper, in the mail today from a mail trade.
That's amazing. On our manifestation day? That's
on
so
our
crazy.
manifestation day. And the reason I've manifested all these things in the mail is because I started sending out things in the mail. So it's like part of manifesting things is like, if you want someone to send you something in the mail, send somebody something in the mail.
Totally.
Right. Like,
exactly.
And so all those beads now, like if somebody has me on their show, I send them out like beaded flowers, or like I send those as gifts, like all over the world.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have time to make beads anymore because I'm so busy with the school and everything like that. It's like, so it's like all that part of my chart that manifested is still part of me manifesting, but it's like,
Definitely.
I really believe in manifesting one transit at a time, even if you don't know, because the transit takes us over with this heartfelt longing. It's like you want to go into what you're longing to do at that transit, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and you don't even know what you're building for your end product. You don't really know.
Right, absolutely. And it's really not, again, sometimes our business, like, because we are higher self, like, I really believe in higher self. There's like a divine plan, even to your own life, that we have amnesia around,
Mm-hmm.
And so we definitely intentionally were born on a certain day and then knew we were going to hit all these transits with our specific chart till the day of our death, which is probably also divinely orchestrated, So it's like, yeah, we're just unfurling kind of,
Well, like a little kid, like let's say we have a builder, and his final cause in teleology, we have this final purpose. Let's say he's supposed to be a builder, right? Well, we might see a transit manifesting at the age of 2 where he's really into Lincoln logs. And he's like building Lincoln, and it's like it's like Saturn and Capricorn, trine Mars and Virgo or something.
Right.
Like, so that aspect of his personality is a builder, but all we know is that he's building. Well, then when he's 40 years old, now he's building a whole house, right?
Exactly.
And because in a big transit to that, Saturn Mars is building a house, but it's the same aspect of personality that's manifesting one transit at a time.
Yeah, and there's the whole spiral thing. Like, you really do see before, especially like the world has kind of corrupted us and made us like really focused on other people's approval and all these kinds of things, like that around 5 and 6 that happens, around middle school that happens, high school. So like before that, like before 5 or 6, like you're like really, you're just your chart, you know what I'm saying? You're just like existing, expressing, and so there's like this inner spiral almost of that expression of yourself, and then it will get like colored by the world, but then you'll go back out and have another spiral expression of yourself, and then it eventually does end up hopefully, if you're not totally derailed by like by the influence of the world.
Well, I have a weird question for you.
What?
Do you think poverty affects manifestation? Because Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's like the first hierarchy is food, shelter, water, and then it goes to like friendships and comrades, and then it's self-actualization is at the top. And like if we don't have food, shelter, and water, it's like really hard to manifest. You're like hungry and you're not. I mean, do you think that do you think a person in poverty can equally manifest to somebody?
Okay, this is a really good question and really important information. So basically, I truly believe that, like I'm a human rights activist, and what I've really found in spending a ton of time with esoteric knowledge recently is that the most fundamental human right is actually our abundance and the ability to understand how we affect how what we think actually manifests in this world. And so there has been, unfortunately, and this is part of like the new age, this is part of me existing right now in this timeline, you know what I'm saying, in the birth of the new age, like there's a huge shift that's happening right now where we actually are taking back control over like the manifestations that we are able to create, because this is an abundant universe and this is a loving universe and we are actually allowed to have anything we want. But there has been like a lockdown, especially because when there's also automation that's now here, right? So before automation, and there's like, they're creating like scary robots and stuff like that. But actually, in the age of Aquarius, I really see the technology working for all living things, and so that we can be free needs of food, shelter, and water to be philosophers, to be manifestors and stuff like that. But before automation, people knew these things. That's why I'm going back to the people who knew them. When they used them and capped them at the top, the whole capstone, the pyramid thing, the capstone, they literally capped off this knowledge. That's why it's like the secret, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be so old school. Like the fact that we don't all just have this as basic knowledge, like from school grade up. It's just like astrology. There's like, we are literally the entrance of the age where now everyone's going to have all these, and there won't really be poverty in the same way because people will just like know the things. But because they didn't have, or they were the people who had this knowledge and then gained wealth from this knowledge, they were really afraid that everyone else would then get it and then not want to work for them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a desperation in poverty where you don't think about anything except getting the next spoonful of something, you know, like the next little like morsel, you know. And so there's like it was actually like an oppression to not have access to this knowledge. So that's why I think it's really cool that we're doing this right now. I think that like it's actually very radical, you know, entirely radical, and it's like a human rights activism to really offer manifestation techniques to regular people, because everyone deserves, like as a human right, we all deserve to have this as like who we are. It's our birthright to be abundant, basically, you know. It's exciting. Yeah, totally. So yes and no, because more, right? Okay, there's one more technique I wanted to share. It's called the congratulations technique. Okay. So the congratulations technique, I actually had a dream. I did this congratulations technique before, but I had this dream where I was invited to the Illuminati. Okay, in my dream, I was invited to the Illuminati, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll go. And I went to this meeting. It was like at this big kind of like open, cool, like patio thing, and I walked in, and as you walk in, you basically share your dream, your manifestation. So at the highest level, and I have a really clear manifestation. So you're like, I am this and that and that and this, and you say exactly like where you live now in your big house, and like all the awesome cars that you have, and like your like my business it like makes, you know, 2 million a year, like whatever your real vision is, like exactly what you want. Even, you know, 10 million a year, my business is running at this, and like I have 500 employees, and you just say exactly how you see it to be. And you say that, and then you walk down a line, and everyone congratulates you, okay? And they go, congratulations, that's amazing. I love that for you. That is really cool. Like, not that they, like, are, like, placating you and being like, I totally see that for you. They go, that's absolutely real, like, what you just told me. That's as real as this table. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like, so you go down the line, and everyone just goes like, your car is amazing. Like I've met your employees. They're really cool. You know, like they like fill out your vision and make it like very real. And then I was like, wow, that's all it is. Like at the end, I was like, that's all it is. That's weird. Because that's like the congratulations technique kind of. And then my boss, one of my bosses, he's like, well, actually we do weird sex stuff too, because we don't want everyone to know. So we keep it like secret, like we kind of keep it weird and perverted. So like we keep it a secret. So, you know, it's like we do this thing, yes, but we also like keep each other under wraps, you know, by being like, no one wants to know this about you, you know what I'm saying? So like no one's gonna know the congratulations technique either, right? And so I was like, well, I definitely don't want to do that with you, you know. So like I'm done, and I basically woke up. But I woke up and made this Instagram page called I Am Social Club, because I was like, this is exactly it. Like this is the kind of thing that we almost have to start doing, but minus the weird sex shit, you know what I'm saying? Like minus the secrecy and the fucking like we're keeping it from people thing. But the congratulations technique is basically, you have to trust people. That's why it's the I Am Social Club, because you kind of have to trust people to really hold the vision as seriously as if it were as real as this table, because you don't want anybody to like squash it for you, you know, in your mind even a little bit. But that's what the congratulations technique is, going like, wow, like I fucking love that that's happening for you, like in real life, you know. And you go, yeah, it really is happening for me, and it just happens that much faster.
So this is one that you made up.
No, the congratulations technique is real. It's just I had this dream where they were using it, and then they were being weird about sex at the end of it to kind of keep it a secret. So I don't know. Maybe they use the congratulations technique in the Illuminati, but then they also don't want everyone else to know about it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
yeah. So what can I congratulate you for? Do you want to share?
You know, you congratulate me for just being peaceful. I mean, at this point, like I've been running so much manifestation last year that I'm literally, it's not that I'm giving up, but I'm just tired. I'm just like whatever God wants, actually.
Is there any like particular number, like you could say like I congratulate you for like
you can congratulate me for The only thing I ever write down a manifest for the Moira Press is the Moira Press is very busy. The Moira Press is very busy.
I'm congratulating you for how busy the Moira Press is, and honestly, I see it and believe it. So it's not even that hard to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it is really busy. I get your emails every Tuesday.
yeah, that's true. What can I congratulate you for?
Well, I have an animal sanctuary. It's at a special place. I don't want to share exactly where that's at, but I have an amazing animal sanctuary. I have a nonprofit it's called Pandas Pack for my dog, and we make fountains at dog parks where there aren't any water fountains.
Wow, congratulations for being such a humanitarian for animals.
Thank you. I love animals so much, as you know. I already have 5 at home, but I also have a whole animal sanctuary that is at the sanctuary.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, totally. And then we also do we feed homeless animals, but keep them, and also provide medical services. We keep animals with their houseless parents and stuff. So Panda's Pack is my dog, and is her pack. All the dogs in the world are part of her pack, And so one of the biggest things is we make fountains for dog parks where they're just parched. They don't have the water.
Congratulations on a great idea.
And being out there. I feel like Portland has been, I've been here 20 years, and now I feel like Portland is really benefiting from my residency.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing I want people to know, go to Google and Google an introduction to teleology for the modern astrologer, and that is an article that's on astro.com that I wrote about the ancient manifestation theory called teleology.
Yes, and we're gonna say goodbye to our YouTube people because it has been an hour, and also I just got the battery thing, so I want to say goodbye before they. Bye YouTube! Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Oh, there you are, right there. Yeah. Bye YouTube! Like and subscribe. Comment. We love to hear. Tell us what.